That is perfect, dude. Please make that your Discord photo. Oh my God. Oh, that's beautiful. Whew. Welcome back to Am I the Asshole?
Shit. I'm just going to leave it the whole time.
I need you to screenshot that, post it in the Discord. That'll give you a reason to join the Discord even more so you can see the picture I'm seeing right now. It's fantastic. Join the Discord, link in the description below. It's fully open, all TLS, all the time. I'm waiting for you to actually refresh your camera. Thank you.
I was hoping that I could. I was hoping I could screenshot it on the main computer, and it'd be easier for me to post it. I'll just have to post it. Well, no, I can snag it. Never mind. But anyway, I digress.
Fair.
This camera's funny.
It's
always
very
catching
funny.
me at weird angles. I'm just going to screenshot them every time, and then eventually just have a compilation of like all the dumbass faces that I'm making when my camera freezes. Fortunately, it's not this camera, so we're good on the recording side at least. But
well, nonetheless, welcome back.
Welcome back.
We are back to bring you more assholery.
Yep.
We hope you've had an amazing week. We also hope your weekend's going great as well. Appreciate all the Lousy listeners been watching lately. But I believe last week we cut the preamble. We jumped right in, didn't we?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you weren't wasting any time last week.
Yeah. This one's gonna be interesting. Just the like we've kind of danced around this a little bit because we've done HOA.
There's been adjacent topics.
Yeah.
I guess you can say, or just topics that happen to include this topic. So,
yep. Well, the key topic that we need to talk about today is subscribe.
Or else.
I guess that was very threatening.
It was meant to.
Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Again, we appreciate everybody who's been watching. And if you have nothing to say in the comments, because we always ask at the end of the video, let us know what your thoughts are. You have nothing else to say. What? Drop a rocket ship emote.
Ooh, I like rocket ship.
Rocket ship emote in the comments down below.
And watch Tuesday's podcast to see why.
Yes. Yep. Well, technically they can, depending on how the camera angle looks. Actually, no, you crop it in pretty well, so they wouldn't be able to see it right now. It's on the table right next to me.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to go watch. Ha! No. Please. Anyways. Today's topic, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, is all about neighbors.
Yep.
Howdy, neighbor.
Howdy.
I have neighbors.
I have neighbors as well.
Yep.
I actually talked to these neighbors.
Fair.
Yep.
I will say I'm very thankful that I went from a neighborhood where my neighbors hung out all the time.
Yeah.
They were just being super friendly to these also being super friendly. Not that we all hang out all the time, but everyone's like, howdy, neighbor.
Yep.
Very Midwestern.
Yeah, we're in I've kind of described our situation where the house is pretty close. So like, it was kind of a situation where like, you better fucking talk to them, but yeah, we were super fortunate to have really awesome, good neighbors, and
yep.
Hopefully we can have a good, long-lasting neighborly relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
But sometimes you get neighbors that aren't so good.
True. And we might run into this today, but before we even do that, you're up too, buddy.
Oh yeah, I am. Oh, I just wanted to hear you say it. It's so good. Wait, hang on.
I don't think I ever rubbed it in his face that I was up. Somebody go back and go back and check to see if I would rub it in his face when I was up by 7.
It's fine. We're two different people.
I'm like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm living in the past right now on my victories, but
they would absolutely rub it in your face. Though. Like, don't even fucking.
True. So I'm not like the Dallas Cowboys at all. I wouldn't have done that. All right, let's do this.
You counted down this time. I've been counting
Fuck
down for a
no.
minute.
You do it.
No.
You do it.
You do it.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Feels good. Feels real good. Feels real good. I imagine this is what a Cowboys fan would feel like if they finally won the Super Bowl. Which will never happen.
I imagine your wife's just lingering behind the door like,
I'm just waiting for that door to... It's either going to happen now, or she probably can't hear me because she typically is watching... Like, she's probably watching Fast and Furious right now with the volume really fucking loud. Because that's what we were watching earlier. And so she probably can't hear me now, but she does sometimes watch the videos. Or I have the other potential of she finds it, or she hears it when I'm editing. So I'm going to wear headphones for a while.
I would for this recording. Yeah, I would.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'll get the couch.
Just to be safe.
Couch is nice and comfy, fortunately. So
take it away.
Anyway, we got 4 stories. First one. Am I the asshole for telling my new neighbors exactly what we were going to do and then doing it? Imagine fucking that. We inherited a house and land when my father-in-law died. It is a nice house on 2 acres in the country. No HOA. Nice. No neighborhood. Just a neighbor to one side and to the back. Everyone else was further away. We decided we would take the opportunity to use the land, put a couple of tiny houses on it for our kids, and set them up. We brought this up multiple times, and pretty much everyone who would listen, with everyone, pretty much everyone who would listen, we discussed legality, viability, all repercussions, everything. We told everyone our dreams of a homestead, of a semi-village where our children lived here on the land with us, albeit in tiny homes. And we had farm animals and gardens and whatever sustainable practices we could muster. Nobody poo-pooed our plans outright. The back neighbor said we wouldn't be able to install a septic, but they were wrong. The side neighbor said property values might go down, but they weren't planning on selling, so it wouldn't matter. This is a place in rural Arkansas where people have cattle, horses, goats, chickens, ducks, emus, multiple buildings on their property, including one person about a quarter mile away who has an RV set up for living in. People have dog runs and broke down vehicles and tractors and barns and all sorts of stuff. The property in front of us has an old industrial scale chicken factory. Can't be seen from the road. Today, the guy behind us was using an auger, and I walked over and joked, "Are you digging for gold?" And he went off on me about how he is installing a shield because our dog keeps going over there and pooping on his land, and he doesn't appreciate the eyesore of our buildings and how we are bringing property values down. However, he has no fences to keep other dogs out, and the people behind him have 2 very large, very hyper retrievers who regularly walk all over his land, leaving huge piles, and on my land too. So it isn't uncommon for free-range dogs in this area. I make it a point to keep our dogs inside as much as possible, or on leads, or in the fences we have been able to put up. I explained that we are trying to help our kids because life is hard nowadays, and he mentioned something about, did you ask anyone for permission to put up the buildings? Then he goes on to say that one of the other guys behind him has to mow because you won't, referring to land that isn't ours to mow, which confused the hell out of me. Our land has weeds which come almost to the knee, but we are allowing to grow a bit because there's flowers, and we are trying to allow the beehive to gather more locally, and the weeds are pretty spare, just a little tall. I mentioned that we are working on putting up a fence, but trying to figure out what would be best. I told him I had hoped that if he had a problem with something that he would have said something to us sooner. He said everyone is mad. Him, the neighbor beside us, the neighbors behind him, people in town, everyone. Call me crazy, but I don't think OP's an asshole here. Let's see if the contrarian says anything.
This is probably gonna be the most open and closed story we read tonight. Not the asshole, it's your fucking land.
Yeah. And you did go through and tell people about it. Started doing it. That's like the only thing I don't like and I don't miss about being out in the country is people were way too wrapped up in your bullshit
Oh god,
for
dude.
no good reason at all. Like the guy doesn't really have any, like I can understand the misunderstanding with the dogs maybe, but
Well, also,
it's,
I mean, let's be fair here. First of all, it's Arkansas. It smells
Yeah.
like armpits. No one lives there. No, if you live in Arkansas, it's okay.
there's some okay areas.
Some. No, like living in the country is it can be nice. The views are awesome. Like the house that you and I both practically grew up in. The views on the way out there,
Great. Yeah.
fantastic. The neighbors weren't terrible.
They weren't good, but you know.
I mean, to me, they were pretty neutral. Because you remember,
Yeah.
I moved back into that house many
Yeah.
years later. They were pretty neutral to me. Like no one really fucked with me. But I also wasn't, building homes.
Yeah.
But here's, I mean, as a homeowner and no, never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke. As a homeowner, here's the truth of the matter. It's your fucking land.
Yeah.
As long as you go through the appropriate channels and get the permits you need and do what you're supposed to do for the property you're creating, don't give a damn who says anything. It's your property. When I moved into this house, I remember our neighbors next door were very much like highfalutin on the previous owner and how much work he put into the house. And I'm like, yeah, no, I see. I've also had to fix a lot of the shit that he didn't take care of. Like, and also on top of that, guess what? The house that you see, the color's going to change. I'm going to paint it.
Yeah.
The driveway's going to be nicer. Like the fence that he never fucking painted or stained, that's getting taken care of. A lot of this shit's getting updated. And they kind of grimaced at first, but they were like, what are we mad about? It's not our fucking property. Like, just because you like the dude doesn't mean you have to get mad at me if I want to change what's now mine.
Yeah. It's
Same
not like
thing
you
here.
went in there saying, hey, get the fuck out of this house. I'm buying it,
Yeah.
like,
As far as I'm concerned, I did the dude a favor, but
yeah.
that's a story for a different day. No, not the asshole.
Yeah,
not the asshole at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Reddit agrees on this one. Not the asshole. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Let's read these comments real quick.
pretty easy for sure.
Yeah. First comment here, not the asshole. I wouldn't listen to him speak for other people. You've talked with your other neighbors and no one has expressed any upset until now. You don't need permission from your neighbors to build on your land. Despite this, you did let everyone know beforehand and no one said anything negative. So that's on them. I will say that if your neighbor is upset about your dogs, make sure they stay in your yard. He doesn't care about the other neighbor's dogs because he's not upset with them. He's upset with you. And so it's just best to make sure you keep your dog safe on your property. Facts.
Yep.
Again,
one.
most open and closed I've ever read, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'll read one more just because we normally do too. As a whole, not the asshole, I think what you're doing is pretty cool. The one thing you're wrong about is your neighbor needing fences to keep dogs off his property. It's not his job to keep your and his other neighbor's animals contained, and he has a right to be annoyed by that. On that note, some states have what's called a fence out agreement. So like you're responsible for, if you don't want things on your land, you have to put up a fence to keep things out. Yep. I don't know how Arkansas is, but I know that is a thing in a lot of places. So I'll just double check. But at the end of the day, it's keep your dogs on your property for sure. Just that way they're not going off and getting hurt somewhere. So
I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
Yeah, no, not the asshole at all.
Not the asshole.
Again, pretty open and closed. And that's like, that's one thing I will say I've noticed, especially living where I live. There are a lot of older folks around me. Not old, but like I'm 32 and I'm pretty sure that the person closest to me in age is like 41.
Yeah.
So everyone's and everyone in this neighborhood, to my understanding, has lived in this neighborhood for at least more than 5 years. So you kind of get into this like status quo of everyone knows everyone and everyone knows everything, and somehow everyone thinks they now have a fucking say in what you do with your property. Nope. I'm gonna tell you right now, if my oldest said, Dad, I want a fucking bouncy house for my birthday, I'm gonna be like, you're getting a fucking bouncy house, my dude. Like, and ain't nobody saying a damn thing about it. Like, I'm not gonna purposefully go out of my way to fuck with people. Perfect example. Last night, we were working on the game room. We were cutting pine boards down to make old style trim. It's gonna look really cool. Might post picture in the Discord. Join the Discord. Look. But we were doing it like 8:30 at night, and the first thing we did was, what's the noise ordinance? Because I'm not trying to fuck with people. I'm not trying to like run construction equipment at 9 o'clock at night if it's not okay. And sure as shit, here where I live, 8 o'clock cut off construction equipment. Okay, what do? We sound checked the room. We had both of us walked out of the room and upstairs. We made sure everything was sound tight enough. We cut the shit inside. Yeah. Why? Because I don't want to fuck with anybody. But don't think you have a right to say anything about my fucking house, motherfucker. End of story. Yep. Next story. Let's go.
Moving on.
All right. Am I the asshole for telling my neighbors that I don't care for their living situation? I know the title sounds bad, but hear me out. Yeah. I recently relocated to Orlando from Miami. I moved to some apartments that most would consider really nice. Not high end or anything, but definitely nice. Miami was just too expensive, which is the reason for my move. So because I work from home and I have 2 dogs, I wanted to get a 2-bedroom apartment. One that can be an office that I can work from and one for me to sleep. After having my office in the same room I slept in my last home, still with my mom, it felt suffocating, like I never got to escape work. This has been much better for me mentally, and I feel like I'm actually leaving work after I close my laptop. So I've been here about a month and recently saw a family moving in. I'm very introverted, so I didn't introduce myself or anything. The only time I really ever have contact with anyone is when someone is walking their dog at the same time I am, and our pups want to say hello to each other. Very quick small talk, and then we're on our way. Today, as I was going back inside after walking my dogs, I saw the wife and I just gave a friendly smile. Nothing more. I decided I should throw the trash out before I clock in for the day just to get it out of the way. As I was walking back to my apartment, the wife stopped me to introduce herself. I introduced myself as well. She then asked if I lived with a girlfriend or anything. I told her no, it's just me and my pups. She gave me a strange look that I can only describe as annoyed. She asked if my apartment had 2 bedrooms. I told her yes, that there are 2 bedrooms. She asked me why I wanted 2 bedrooms when I live alone, and I explained to her that the office sleeping thing I mentioned above. Now this is the part where I may be the asshole. She said that it was really inconsiderate and rude to bigger families to take up a 2-bedroom apartment by myself. That her family of 4, husband, wife, and 2 kids, had to share a 1-bedroom because people like me decided to steal the 2-bedroom apartments. I said that it sucks that you feel that way, but there's nothing I can do. She said I should trade apartments with her. I thought she was joking, so I just started laughing. Not a nervous laugh or anything, I just genuinely found her suggestion hilarious. I then said that her living situation doesn't concern me, and if she wanted a 2-bedroom apartment, she should have looked harder. She said she was going to report me to the building, and I said that she should report me to DeSantis, Florida governor, while she's at it. I went inside and left her there screaming like a crazy person. Am I the asshole?
Damn. You're not an asshole for having a 2-bedroom apartment. I will say that very easily, very fast. Because you can use that bedroom for a lot of different things. Office, guest room, whatever. It's also none of her fucking business. If you want a 2-bedroom, there's plenty of other places. You don't have to go to a reasonably nice place, right?
Yep.
So that, definitely not. You didn't steal anything. Actually, in fact, I don't think you're really being an asshole at all. She's coming at you with a pretty ridiculous request. Saying, hey, let's trade apartments. Like, fuck no. Absolutely not. Like, I've been here. So, yeah. Sounds like you just have a shitty neighbor, unfortunately. So I'm going to say not the asshole.
As extroverted as I am, it's stories like this that make me go, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Like,
that's what I was terrified of, talking to my neighbors here. But fortunately, they're super cool. But man, I was like, man, if we're gonna have a shitty situation, they're like 10 feet away from my house.
Well, and ironically enough, similar situation here. Uh, the previous owner of this house did not work from home.
Yeah.
I do. And some of my neighbors found it really weird that I was home all the time. So much, in fact, that they would ask, "Hey, do you leave your house?" And I went, "Yeah, when I'm off work." And they go, "What?" And I went, "I work remote." Like, it's a normal fucking thing.
Now, especially, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not uncommon to have a house or apartment with multiple bedrooms so you can have an office. One of the requirements when I was searching for a house to buy, I needed an office. Like, not just for all the cool shit I have in here, but because I have this massive computer in front of me that I work at 5 fucking days a week. Like, 6 if you count the show. So, you know, like, it's not uncommon. And honestly, to the parents in this situation, to the wife who's the mother of 2 kids, I'm not gonna even sit here and try and like come up with context on financial situations and shit. I'm just gonna say it like this: if you settled on a 1-bedroom apartment knowing you needed 2 or 3 bedrooms, that's on you.
Yeah.
Period. Like, my kids' bedrooms were taken care of long before my office was a thing. But guess what? I still found a place where I could have all of those things. So get fucked. Not the asshole.
Yeah. Not the asshole. It's not quite as open shut, but pretty fucking open shut. That's the first one. And Reddit agrees, saying not the asshole on that.
I will say this. If the conversation had continued, it would have been everyone sucks.
Yeah.
Because as we've said before, turn the other cheek, walk away. But OP did the right thing. You thought that was funny? You laughed. She said she was going to write the building. All right, write DeSantis too. Bye. And left. Like, cool.
One little
like, if you had kept going, yeah, if you had leaned into it, then I'd have been like, you were good until you weren't. But yeah, you ended that at the right time. So,
yep. So yeah, Reddit agrees, not the asshole. First comment here. I think laughter was the appropriate reaction. Next time, just ignore her and her family completely. Consider getting a doorbell camera because these people are clearly unhinged, not the asshole.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely doorbell camera because I can only imagine they're probably going to like steal packages or some shit like that now just to try to make your life hell now that you've wronged them, quote unquote.
Yep. Next comment here. Not the asshole. Jesus. Not the asshole. I very much doubt there are no other 2-bedroom apartments in the place where you live. She should rent one of those. She's being a mooch. It may not be. It may not be that there's any more 2 bedrooms in that place.
Yeah.
But not sure if anybody's looked around lately. There's a fuckload of developments going up everywhere.
Yeah. Apartments especially. They're just anything like that is popping up in any nook and cranny that it possibly can.
Yep. And especially in today's day and age, like, look, I love being a homeowner. I love having my own property, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I didn't, there's a lot of apartments that are high end. I mean, very nicely done and well put together apartments that are less expensive than paying a mortgage. And I'd be living in one of them. Like, the only reason I wouldn't is if I found a house that had equal to opportunity value, you know, like to rent. But if you're looking at apartments, shit, I think back to when you and I were living together and we found that really nice one when that development went up.
Yep.
And we were the first ones living in that apartment. That bitch was nice.
Yeah. And granted, the landscape of renting and buying has changed a lot since then. But because that one was a 3-bedroom for what, like $960 or something like that. It was under $1,000.
No, it wasn't.
Or it was like right at
no,
it.
It was just over $1,000 because I remember I paid $360 a month.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But
that was also 2013, 2012.
Yeah, between it would have been 2013 because that lease ended, and then you and other roommate moved into the other place, and I crashed there for like 2 weeks before I moved.
I just want to see how much they go for now. This exact same. I'm not gonna say what the property is, but I want to see how much.
Because I mean, there are places that are more expensive than getting a mortgage, but in general, I guess it depends on the type of house that you're buying too. You know.
Yeah. Small square footage, but I mean, damn. So the exact same apartment that we lived in, the exact same layout and everything, is only $1,350 right now.
For a 3-bedroom, that's not bad. That basically
not bad at all.
It's like $100 plus more. Although that is a 25% increase, so that's pretty.
But that's also 12 years later.
Yeah, but still, you know.
Well, yeah.
Even in that kind of shitty area, you know.
I will say the only saving grace of that apartment was we had a dope ass property manager, because that company sucks.
Oh yeah.
The company itself sucks, but the property manager was dope. Shout out Tim.
I totally forgot about
Tim. Tim was that dude who was like, "All right, boys, look, I know y'all like to get rowdy. Gonna need y'all to keep it a little quieter." Like,
yeah. He's like,
right,
our
Tim,
principal,
we got you, dog.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway,
we got you, Tim. Yeah, no, I not the asshole. Let them go find another apartment. Like,
yep, they need to.
It's not. That's should not be a worry for you.
No,
so.
Not on you at all.
Next,
moving on.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button while you're here and join the Lousy listeners. And also, click the join button. For $2.99 a month, you can become a Lousy member, where you can get some awesome perks, cool emotes, and interact with Sam and I. Also, click the link to join our Discord and have fun with all the other Lousy listeners. Let's get back to the video.
Am I the asshole for exposing an entitled neighbor? The asshole family and friends have my main, so I'm assuming, or what? No, to add. That's what TA I'm assuming it is.
yes.
Okay. Too many fucking different lingos. I, 30 male, live alone in a meh house. And I read that at first as a meth house, and I was really concerned. And working as an engineer. Huh?
At least you're honest.
Yeah, right. I decided to spoil myself with a nice sports car. It is a 2021 Aston Martin Vantage. Holy shit. With a manual transmission for those into cars. It has only 2 seats. That's a nice looking car. Since it is a rear-wheel drive car with a decent amount of power, and I live in Canada, I decided to get a crappy SUV, an old Ford Escape, to use during the winter. During the summer, I use my sports car daily and just leave my winter beater getting dusty. One of my neighbors, mid-20s female, recently got divorced and became a single mom. Her financial situation got bad, and her ex-husband kept their car. Seeing her struggle, I let her use my winter beater during summer. She was thrilled and thankful. One day of summer, winter beater broke down. Not a surprise. My neighbor was really sad, and when we took it to the mechanic, the repairs would cost more than the car, so it was not worth it. My sports car takes most of my money anyways. I live with not too much things nor luxuries except my car, and I'm not exactly rich. I decided to junk it and winterize my sports car. My neighbor didn't like this decision. I said that I wouldn't be paying to repair it, and sadly she wouldn't have a car anymore. She said she had a trip planned with her kids and asked me for my Vantage. I, of course, refused it, mentioned that she wouldn't be able to drive it. Too much power, manual transmission, rear wheel drive. Fuck. And it was also a 2-seater, which wouldn't fit her kids anyways. I also don't let anyone else drive it. It's my baby, let alone for a vacation without me. She stormed back to her house, and I simply donated my winter beater to a charity. She posted a long rant in a Facebook group of our neighborhood saying I'm a bad neighbor and how I denied her kids a vacation. Oh. I replied to it mentioning she doesn't even know how to drive a manual car. It is ridiculously dangerous for someone inexperienced to drive it, and it's a 2-seater. I told her she would be an irresponsible mom if she put both of her kids in the passenger seat. Not only dumb and illegal, but dangerous. And that I have no responsibility in giving my car for 2 weeks for her to go on a trip, no matter the car. It was a massive reply, and I was also told I was disappointed with her way of thinking for assuming I would just provide a car for her when I have nothing to do with her life. The winter beater was a favor, and she was acting entitled for thinking I would provide my vantage for her. Everyone else sided with me and roasted her brutally. Lots of neighbors congratulated me for my decision, but some told me I went too far and should have just ignored her or just said, please remember it is a two-seater and your kids won't fit. A few friends and relatives also told me it was an asshole move to do this and that I don't understand the struggles of being a single mom. Am I the asshole for exposing her in such an aggressive manner? Damn.
Give someone an inch, they take a mile.
Yep. Unfortunately.
You don't owe them anything.
Nope. That was very nice of you to let them use it for as long as you did.
I was going to say, you did that out of the kindness of your own heart. You've clearly shown you don't live this luxurious lifestyle. That having two cars was solely so that way you wouldn't put a lot of fucking wear and tear on the Vantage.
Yeah.
Nice fucking car, by the way.
Yeah. I won't.
But yeah, you don't owe her anything. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, so the ends there of saying, I don't understand, a few friends and relatives also told me it was an asshole move to do this and that I don't understand the struggles of being a single mom. Okay. Let's take this into account for a second. Sounds to me like it's at least been a few weeks.
At least,
if not a few months, that single mom has been using your car. I can only assume to some degree that single mom has been working. And newsflash for anybody out there, single moms or dads, because we don't discriminate. You don't need a flashy fucking car to get back and forth to work and taking your kids where they need to go. That is a luxury, and it's something you work hard to achieve. But if you are struggling and you need that bit of transportation, guess what? Work for it. Embrace the suck. Have a shitty car for a while, and then go and buy a nice one later.
Yep.
When my wife and I first had our oldest, my car, if you remember, my Cooper broke down. That car was my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sell it. For a long time, I drove a 98 Honda Accord that had over 200,000 miles on it. It was not a nice car by any stretch of the imagination. It took a long time for me to get vehicles that I actually enjoyed that were nicer and safer, albeit, safer.
Yeah.
But guess what? You embrace the suck and you deal with what you got to deal with. Shit ain't gonna turn over overnight. OP, you were kind enough, but shit. I don't see no asshole here.
No, the only asshole is the neighbor, honestly. Because, I mean, also you got to think, for however long she had the car, regardless of that, why are you planning a vacation for your kids when you don't have your own transport? Like, that should be, like, you need to get, the essentials. Like, you got the shelter. You're good there. Food probably taken care of as well. So next step is transportation. Why are you not ensuring that you have your own transportation and not just mooching off of somebody? And then to have the audacity to go in and say, why aren't you fixing this and giving me this car? Hey, let me borrow your super nice sports car. Like, who the fuck does that? Like, if I were in her shoes, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. Really appreciate you letting me borrow it for as long as I did. I'm gonna go find a cheap used car now or something, So yeah, it's super shitty. I don't see any way, like, you're not being mean to her. You're simply pointing out that, hey, using this would not be a good idea. Also, I let you use that one that was not yours. So, you're not going out and exclaiming to the world first. You're simply defending yourself.
Entitlement's a hell of a drug.
Huh?
entitlement's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Not the asshole.
Not the
and
asshole.
Reddit fully agrees. Not the asshole.
Yep.
I couldn't agree with you more. You hit the nail on the head. You know, as long as you got a house, you got food, next step, transportation. And the fact that you God, dude, you hit it so perfectly. The fact that you think you can take your kids on a vacation on someone else's dime, basically, you know, and then expect him to just give up his fucking car like that, like, no, absolutely fucking not.
It's one of those.
No. We knew we would have one.
Yep.
We always do.
Mm-hmm.
These comments down below, I'm sure will be good. First one saying, not the asshole. She was aggressive and instigated by posting. You responded and shut it down. Sometimes people need a dose of the medicine they're trying to dish out. Facts.
Yep. Honestly.
Facts.
Next one here is not at all. You went way past being a good neighbor by allowing her to use the old beater. But to hand over keys to a Vantage, mate, nobody deserves that. Not the asshole. You informed her privately why you refused the request. She went public. You replied, that's fair. She opened the gate. You walked through it.
I wouldn't say OP walked through it. I'd say OP danced through that motherfucker.
Yeah.
On some tippy toes. Like,
Right.
pirouette in that motherfucker. This last one is actually really good too. If anyone criticized you for your response, tell them to either loan this woman their car indefinitely or to kindly shut the fuck up. Not the asshole. Facts.
Honestly. Yeah. Like nobody else
Like,
is going to do that.
Like, and here's a solid thing to remember is like, this individual is recently divorced. So it's likely that they're still going through something with their ex. Let them go handle the car situation with their ex.
Yep.
Let them figure out a transportation situation, say that 5 times fast, with their ex for their kids. A vacation should not be on the table, period.
Like I get you want to treat
Period.
your kids, but God, like that's just boneheaded.
Yeah, unless you are so financially well set up that you know for a fact you can do that and you've got everything on the table already good to go. House, food, transportation, what else would there, but really it's primary 3.
That's
what
the
else
thing.
would there be?
Yeah.
Anything you can think of that you need to basically have a decent day-to-day living circumstance. If all of that's covered, then think about vacation. But the fact that you wanted to go on vacation with someone else's vehicle, I just thought about this. What if she didn't fucking tell him she was going and took the car? And she was gone for a fucking week or 2.
Yeah, that in itself, even if the car was fine, you should at least let him know. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'd like to take this over here. You know.
Yeah. By the way, heading to the beach that's like 300 miles away for 2 weeks. See in 2 weeks. Like, what? But let's move on.
Yeah, I like that. But
Last story. Let me get myself comfy here. Am I the asshole for reporting my neighbors? I've, 26 female, been living in this same apartment complex for about 5 years now. In the 5 years I've lived here, I haven't had any issues with any of my neighbors until recently. A year ago, a new couple moved in. Things started off rocky because they chose to move in at 12 a.m. on a weekday. Everyone in the apartment asked them to be quieter as they moved, but throughout the week, they were super loud. More time passed, the noise didn't stop. The guy stomps around, and the woman is constantly slamming drawers and screaming. They run the laundry past 2 a.m. Eventually, I asked them to be quieter. The apartment's quiet hours are from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. I get laundry goes a little long, but 2 a.m. I also asked that they be more courteous about their pets. It wasn't fair that neighbors had to listen to their dogs howl and cats scream well past 1 a.m. The guy immediately became defensive and said their animals can't help it. They're animals and can't help it. He works early and has to have his uniform clean. He went on about how he was a veteran and needed his animals. I told him because they were so loud, I knew that they were home around 6 p.m. If they run the laundry around then, they could easily do 2 loads that would finish around 11. I also told him I get the pets help him, but he could train them to be better behaved. I also get up early, so having his pets act up and his laundry going past 12 was very disruptive. Suffice to say, we don't get along. Recently, there has been this loud sound, like an old engine or a generator. It starts around 11 and goes through the night. I slept in the living room for a while and figured it would stop soon. I was wrong. I went up to ask them about the sound, but the woman smirked and called her partner over. He told me he purchased an AC and would not be turning it off. I said that was fine, but maybe he could move it or place something under it to muffle it. He slammed it over my face, so I reported it to the property manager. Apparently, this was the 5th complaint they've had since moving in, so they were fined $500. Since they made a point to tell me I have to, since then, they made a point to tell me I have put them under insane financial strain. I feel bad, but I try to talk to them. Should I feel bad? Am I the asshole?
Edits should be safe, I think.
Edits. Edit 1. It's definitely not just the AC, laundry, pets. There was a character restriction when I posted, but they've gotten complaints for leaving trash in the stairwell for weeks, not cleaning after their pets, hosting parties during the week for reasons unknown to the other residents, etc. I tried to post the complaints more related to the issue I filed on the complaints on. 2. Yes, there are daily living sounds, but this complex has certain mechanisms built in to mitigate this. An example is the cabinetry. They have a springy thing that prevents them from being slammed and little pads on the corners to muffle sound. For someone to slam the drawers hard enough for the sound to be audible despite these mechanisms is insane. I guess also for reference, I've lived in apartments most of my life. Having grown up overseas, it's quite common for families to live in high rises. I'm not sure if it's unique to certain cultures, but I feel like it's just common courtesy to adhere to certain rules, especially if more than one person has voiced concern.
And that's why I'll do my best to never live in an apartment complex ever again. Ever. Because I was so tired of dealing with shit like this.
Yep.
Unfortunately. I don't think OP is unreasonable in their wants and requests. Like, they're not saying, hey, completely change everything you do. Just, hey, be a little quieter, please. You know?
So I think back to an apartment I lived in. This is long after you moved to Texas. Actually, it was the apartment I was living in when I got married. Remember that one?
Yeah.
We had an old woman living beneath us. To this day, couldn't remember her name, but I can tell you right now, this woman, we'll just call her Blinds. Because every day when I came home from work, just staring at me. My wife and I were never really loud. The building itself just had zero sound absorption, period.
That building was shit.
Yeah. And I was cutting hair out of my apartment. Like, clients would come over to the house, and I had a pretty solid rotation of clients coming. Like, I would say weekly, it would be anywhere from 20 to 25 people coming over to the apartment to get cut. Made sure to keep it quiet. If clients came by, I'd be like, hey, it is an internal entry, so please be quiet when you come in. Never really partied, never drank, never threw down like that. The only time I would ever get kind of loud is if, we were playing games, something like that. But even then I would still keep quiet because my, at the time, pregnant wife would have murdered me if I had woken her up.
Yep.
But through all of that, I don't know I think I told you about this, how I got reported to the property manager for being how do I say this without getting demonetized? A dealer of certain sorts. And that we were being loud as all get out, that we were throwing parties and all this nonsense, that people were in and out all the time. What she didn't realize was I had told the property manager, hey, I'm a barber. Are you cool if I have people come by the house to get haircuts? And he was like, shit, as long as you pay the rent, I don't care.
Yeah.
So the unfortunate effect is you do run into neighbors like this where they're just going to be all up in your business all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And yeah, as long as you're following the rules, fuck them. Like, there's this weird, like, stigma almost where, like, if you're cool with your neighbors, everyone gotta slide past the rules. Like, yeah, sure, as long as you don't fucking disturb me.
Yeah.
You know, like as long as you don't disturb me and my rest. Like if you're not throwing a party at 2 a.m., I'll be fine. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, no, you don't owe these motherfuckers a damn thing, especially if they acting like that. Hell no.
If they're already got 5 other complaints, and then yours is the one that broke the straw, you know, or the straw that broke the camel's back, I should say.
Yeah.
Like that's not on you.
No.
You know, you did the right thing in trying to just talk to them first. Like you didn't immediately go like, you know, to the property manager and be like, they're loud. You know, you just were like, hey, I understand, you know, things, you know, everybody's a little different, but you know, we have quiet hours, blah, blah, blah. Could you just keep it down a little bit?
Yeah.
And he even like dealt with the AC for a couple days, just thinking it would probably go away eventually. But yeah, I don't think OP's an asshole here.
Yeah, no, she did the right thing.
Yep.
100%. Like
Reddit.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, not the asshole.
Yeah. Okay. And Reddit agrees.
Not the asshole.
Yeah.
It was one of the first times we've had a straight shot, not the asshole.
That was 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And we actually agreed with that. Yeah.
Or the Wendy's fo-fo-fo.
Yeah. The fo-fo-fo.
The fo-fo-fo.
I missed the fo-fo-fo.
Let's see what these comments say. First one says, not the asshole. Yes, $500 will likely have a significant impact. Hopefully, it also has a significant impact on their noise level. You try to speak with them, but they declined to engage with you. That was their choice. Essentially, let the management company handle it, and they did just that. Finally, you didn't impose the fine, nor did you know that this was their 5th complaint, nor was your complaint made in bad faith. All valid facts.
Yep.
Like, that is the exact reason why apartment complexes, if you're shopping for an apartment, because I remember you and I were like stickler on this, especially after our first place. When you're shopping for an apartment, part of your living environment is the management company.
Yeah.
You need to make sure they got their P's and Q's together. Because if you go in there and they seem fucking off, no, don't fucking do it. Because if shit hits the fan, guess what? They're the people you have to call. You got a leaky faucet. You fucking, I don't know. Your toilet didn't fucking burst. I don't know. Your neighbor's fucking too loud. Like, who knows? You got to call them. If they're not going to answer those calls, that's a shitty management company.
Yep.
So big ups to this management company here because they were on it.
I agree.
So
I'll just read one more comment. Not the asshole. If you're the 5th complaint, they've upset a lot of people. You shouldn't feel bad.
Exactly. Yeah, no, this is pretty easy. Like, just being able to use the tools at your disposal after being as nice as you can. Like, you gave them ample opportunity to chill the fuck out, and they didn't. And then you were like, all right, didn't want to have to do this, but like that first comment said, you didn't know there was 4 other complaints in or 5 other complaints. So you just locked yours in saying, hey, look, this is what's going on. And just so happened that they had a bunch of others. They were just racking up demerits at that point.
Yep.
So that's it.
Yep. That is it.
That's it on this one. All right, y'all. It's time to get out of here. As always, thank y'all again for watching. Make sure to comment down below. Did we get any of these wrong? Let us know your thoughts. Nope. Greatly appreciate y'all putting the timestamps on those as well. As a reminder for the beginning of the episode, and we've been telling y'all like crazy, join the Discord. Why? Because the Discord is full TLS now. So it's a great community to be a part of, to discuss episodes or just hang out. You'll probably catch Sam and I hanging out in the VCs every once in a while. Great place to be. So join the Discord, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Tuesday. Yeah. Bye.